Well, needless to say, what I thought might work didn't work. So I can't turn the camera around while I'm taking a video. At least I don't know how. If you do, then please let me know how to do that at later on. So this was the paper study guide for LS2, which was our last big unit, and it has questions on it that you were asked to fill out. I'm going to turn the page. I'll just do this one. So, like this section has little blanks that you would fill in. Now, of course, I would encourage you to check in your notebook or your textbook. It even sometimes gives you suggestions of where to look. It doesn't always do that, but sometimes it does. And so it has these blanks. Well, if you have a reliable adult or big brother or sister, wow, it's really shaky. They can certainly ask you these questions, and then you can tell them the answer, and they can tell you whether or not you got it right. Because when we go over the answers to the study guides in class, you need to make sure that you're getting down the correct answers. If your answers are blank or if they're wrong, mark them wrong, do whatever you need to do to where you know that isn't it, and then you always write down the correct answer. That's important. So you can have, somebody call it out to you, parent, older brother, sister, younger brother or sister if they can read the words, or even a friend. Like, it's really cool if one of you does it with the other because you're both studying as you're doing it, and you get to study kind of twice because one asks and one hears, and then you switch jobs. The other thing, though, if you don't have that kind of relationship with somebody, or they're real busy and they're zero judgment, but if that's the way it is, then when you go to answer a blank in your study guide, instead of writing on top of the blank, it might be good to write below the blank. Because when you put your answer in below the blank, and I'll give you full credit just for answering, if you do that, when you're studying, you can do this by yourself. You cover, and notice that I'm not using a regular old sheet of paper because you can sometimes see through that. But if you use something like construction paper, you can't see through that. So I can uncover the question, which here asks, what are the two main phases of the cell cycle? But I've covered up what's below the blanks. I know that there's two blanks, but I can't see what's below it. So if I wrote my answers below those blanks, then I could uncover those and go, okay, those are my answers. Did I have those in my head before I did that? And you can do that with your entire study guide. But you really need to make sure that you're getting the correct answer. As is true for, I'm understanding, for math, study guides are very similar in the fact that I give you the answers. So if you don't have the answers, I want you to write them down so that you can study. But I can't give you full credit if you turn it in late because I've already given you the answers. And even if you weren't there or what have you, somebody else could give you the answers that we went over in class. So you need to make sure to have your study guide completed on time and in class for you to be able to get full credit. So we've talked about what you can do with your notes as you're taking those and the things that can help you and what to do to study for an assessment. The last thing I want to talk to you about is, in my class, what's the most important. Labs are worth 40% of your grade. You need to make sure that you complete every question on every lab all the time. The next would be participation grade, or I'm sorry, minor grades. Those are those assessments like on Google Forms or Performance Matters or wherever that is, where we take something that might be called a quiz or a test in another class, but for me, I call them quests. So those are important. Make sure you're doing the corrections, but you have to be sure you're doing the correction correctly. You have to fill in all the information. Like if it's asking, how do I know that you know what the correct answer is? You have to literally tell me what the correct answer is, how you know it, and where you found it. So please make sure that you're knowing that that's happening too. I'll be back and I will be glad to help with any other questions that you might have. But in these last few minutes, if you have some time, go check out Infinite Campus. See how you're doing in science. See if any of these strategies might be able to help you. And if you finish all of that, then get out a pleasure reading book and read until the end of our swarm time today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I hope this helps. Bye-bye.